And good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 for Thursday, January 13th, 2022. A lot is going on in the various markets, so I'm just going to jump right in here. And with the S&P, we did see some acceleration to the downside. We did see that the market finished not very well. The NASDAQ dropped 400. And now, as Globex opened, is up $10, $11. The S&P closed strongly lower and is now just attempting to rally a little bit off the close. What did it do to the patterns, and what does that mean for us going forward? I am leaving the count as is. And because the S&P would need to break 4627 to negate it as I've got it laid out. On top of that, it would need to negate further by dropping down and through 4572. So our first break is 4627. Our second break of importance is 4572. Now, the first one drops this from a 1 and a 2 to an A and a B and a C. Now, of what is where I would need to take that step back. So the first break forces us into an ABC, likely removes that as a 2, or it starts to put the pressure on this larger count where this, and I said this before, where this intermediate wave one, this minor wave 1 would be replaced by an intermediate wave 5, but on a minor level, it would be a 5. And so what we have in terms of these would all be minor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of the minute, and this would turn into intermediate 5th wave. And then this would change to a 1. This would be the minor 1 coming off of this completion of all of those advancing sequences. Now, breaking below 4627 puts maybe the first hammer hit on the nail that goes into that coffin, so to speak. The break here still puts it into some jeopardy, puts another couple of nails in that coffin. A break below 4520 pretty much finishes the nailing and puts the coffin into the ground. For the upside, for a continuation, breaking up above what we've already done. Now that's just my humble opinion and the way that I'm seeing the Elliott. So how do we want to take that into what we can look for tomorrow? Okay, building tomorrow's scenario is really encompassing just those breakpoints and what we need to see if upside is going to pick up. So let me open this chart up just a little bit more. And here we have, actually here, don't break zone 1 at 4627. The market put in a low today at 4642. So not that much more coming off. We're recovering a little bit, and we're now sitting around 4656. Now, if indeed this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it comes in as a 2, then I can put that sub-minute wave 1 here, 1 of 3, as we discussed. We're in a third of a third. And so within that third, we're also breaking down. So it's 1 of 3 of 3, 2 of 3 of 3. So what would be expected next would be an Elliott 3 of 3, and add another 3 of 3 of move, 3 move. This thing needs to turn, blast. Sorry, not looking back. We have more to buy than they have to sell, and we're just scooping. We are taking this back to where we find value, et cetera, et cetera. It needs to go. That suggests it needs to break above the 4. It needs to break above the 8. Okay, let's mark the levels. 46.66, 46.83, 46.94, 47.06. That's what it needs to do to prove we're out of here and we're going. That's just for starters. It literally, in my book, needs to get above 47.39 without looking back. Take a pause and keep going. It's a 3 of 3. Enough of the sideways. There can't be just rally, rally, rally. I would still not be looking at that thing. It has to go. As these dropped and broke, that was more convincing. So it has to be as convincing, but in the opposite direction. Okay. In the strong possibility, tomorrow's a weekly expiration, it's a Friday. If the market is kind of like getting a little tired of all the volatility that's being shifted around, then they may like to try to have a inside day where they're not sliding through as many strikes, upside or downside, and that the market is just going to hold within a range and let everything expire. That could save the fireworks for Monday. But somehow I think we are and should get a bounce off of the intense selling that we had right into the close, and then come back down and do it again. So that is, yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting, that we likely will come down. If not, then it stops here and it's got to start plowing through all of this. I don't necessarily see that. I think that the sell pressure may hit us for a while. And then what that then tells us, again, stopping here, that's what I got to see to give me strength that we're that's it. I need to see 5 up on the hourly chart to put some confirmation in that we're taking off again. In lieu of that happening, if the market continues to drop lower in an additional 5 waves, right? Goes up in 3, comes back down in 5. Then I would suspect that we get a pretty good break of the 46.27 level. That negates this, leaves this as an ABC. And at least then we have a level of 45.72 that it can drop down to and still keep any upside alive. Okay, it's when it breaks 45.72 that we start to change it around, and then would be looking for a much larger correction. Now, that covers us for tomorrow. If you're hedging or you're sitting and wondering what you need to put on in terms of a little bit longer term position, that kind of decision is still kind of out there. We're really, you can see just looking at the 4 hour, we're kind of in between. There's the 4. If we're looking for any kind of a pullback, and if we're labeling this all the 5 and blah, 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 that should be first support. That's second support. So we're finishing something that would be on an intermediate degree, primary degree, cycle degree. So basically on that type of a level, we would be in the beginning stages of a much, much, much larger corrective phase. And the first up would be a cycle degree drop, and not have to go out even further. So where would a cycle degree A wave come in? Cycle degree A wave, possibly down to that pandemic low in March of 2020. There's much more involved. Ultimately, you're looking for levels down here. but that's a very long term. Okay, so if you're looking to invest, I can produce a little bit larger, broader type of an update, but not in this particular form. Contact me and we'll talk about it. In the meantime, follow your moving averages tomorrow. That will tell the tale. If this hourly 200 starts to get flat, then we're just going to have likely an inside day. If these start to turn and they turn hard, then maybe we're going to go. Pay attention to the price action and your moving averages. If they all start to form, this is the hourly. Hourly is not looking that pretty. Last to turn over, see the 20 came down below the 50 today. That on the hourly chart begins to line things up, continued downside. All right, that's my first hint that it could happen. If this goes flat, likely not tomorrow. If it starts to turn and angle lower, pressure. Okay, leaving it there. Have a great trading day tomorrow, and the next update will be on Sunday, the 16th.